I have spoken with thousands of vegans around the world, as have you, and it's the same story over and over again, right? Where they find that after they become vegan, their relationships and communication start to break down. Right? With friends, with family, and also even beyond that. So
when I first went vegan, I was very preachy, and I would talk loads of stuff on my Facebook, and I would be very negative, and I would badger people about it, and that ended up in me losing friends. Everything happens for a reason. Maybe we weren't supposed to be friends anyway.
I can't help but think about sometimes, will I ever actually be able to sustain a successful relationship with someone who is a non-vegan?
You're just overwhelmed with anger and just frustration, and then you start taking it out on everyone else.
For me, when I see people eating meat, I recognize that you are eating something that wanted to live, and it's hard for me to process that every time I sit down to eat with someone, every time I go to dinner.
Further along, like being vegan, it became more about like animal rights, and like we're in a very serious relationship that I feel like could last like a really long time. And so I feel like it's something that could potentially be like not a good thing for our future if it's like we end up living together, and you know, it could be a problem. So I just don't really know how to go about it.
So the first thing I do, have you seen the film Dominion?
I haven't. I've heard about it though.
Yeah, you've heard about it? It's on YouTube. That's the one I would recommend he watches. And
when you're newly vegan, you start developing certain feelings about humanity and about other people. When I first went vegan, I had tremendous hate and anger towards humans for doing the horrible things that they do to animals. Like an overwhelming amount of negative emotions towards our species. That's gonna lead to you not being very approachable, not being a very likable person.
I didn't really have many friends. I mean, I had more than I had now, because now I have none,
But you did tell me that in the future you were for sure definitely going to be vegetarian, and I liked to hear that at the time. I think that's one of the things that made me like you, because I don't know, I just couldn't see myself with someone who wasn't a vegetarian, at least a vegetarian.
That my parents only saw that I was sick. They said like, you cannot be vegan, you cannot be raw vegan, it's so terrible for your health. For me, of course, it's crazy because I know how healthy a raw vegan or fruitarian diet actually is, and it's just the best thing that you can do for your health, and that you're doing something amazing for your health, and people are just like, oh, you're so unhealthy.
Sometimes friends and family don't really support or understand a vegan lifestyle, and it's really good to just venture out and find people who are just on the same wavelength.
I took myself away from those social eating events that I used to go to. You know, my friends used to invite me out. They're like, come to a restaurant, come to dinner, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so social events, like just for the first couple of weeks, take yourself out of these events. You don't need to meet your friends over food.
You know, sometimes it's kind of lonely, you know, like I'm in London, people everywhere, but you don't really connect, you know, you're kind of on your own. And
what I find is when people initially go vegan, like the first few years of like at least discovering veganism, people are very angry. I was pretty angry. Okay, like when I talk to people, you get very emotionally charged because you're in this like emotionally charged state. Your mind is open, and then you kind of want to shake everyone and be like, why do you not understand?
I mean, the same thing with your friends, or if you have children, anything like that, it can just cause a lot of stress in your relationships.
One of the things when I first started too, people were like, oh, you're too sensitive. They didn't want to go anywhere with me and whatever, and I'm like, fine, I don't have to go there. The other thing is you're going to dinners with people, and that's the way people socialize. I sometimes bring a green drink, or I get there and I'm like, you know what, I really don't want anything. I just want water. And they all have a fit.
The few times that I was around family and friends, man, I got a lot of negative crap and a lot of mostly just complete unconscious spewed mumbo jumbo and then you got friends saying like, oh, I commend you for going and trying to like make better choices or whatever, but you look skinny as hell.
So my family was rather not enthusiastic about the change. They thought there was something wrong with me. They thought that was absolutely unhealthy, that that's not the way of living, that you needed a balance in your food. So I think one of the hardest things that I actually had to deal with is the unacceptance that I got from everybody.
Being vegan, you really do start to look at people like they're not making the right choices. And it's really hard when you're not able to really communicate with each other, with people around you, your family members and your friends.
The impact you can actually have on the people around you when becoming a vegan. Like, I didn't know any vegans.
Maximize opportunities. It is about prepping everyone for your veganism. Look, many vegans or many beginning vegans find it very difficult to go to social events or to go visit their family members or their friends because they know that there will be or there won't be any vegan food for them.
And you really believe in veganism for the ethical, health, and environmental reasons, do you really see your life aligning with a person who just isn't on board?
And it's very hard when it's your friends and your family who you love and who you know are good people, who you've tried to teach about why it's wrong to pay people to kill animals so you can eat them when there's another alternative. Like, it's frustrating and it can be quite depressing. You decide, nah, I'm making a stand, I'm not gonna go. That act is going to, you know, send a message that you think it's wrong and you're not even gonna be there to watch them support what they're supporting.